My beloved child, you heard the words echo in your heart today, didn't you? Sorry you are late. And something inside you dightened. You wondered if you had missed it again. Missed the moment. Missed the blessing. Missed the open door. You felt that quiet panic rise in your chest, the same one that whispers, "Everyone else is moving forward, why am I still here?" But listen to me carefully. When I say, you are late, it is not what you think. I am not accusing you. I am not disappointed in you. I am not standing with crossed arms, watching you struggle to catch up. I am your Father, and my words are never meant to wound you. They are meant to awaken you. You think you are late to success, late to love, late to healing, late to your purpose. You measure your life against clocks and calendars, against the achievements of others, against the expectations you silently placed upon yourself. You look at the years behind you and say, "I should be further by now." You look at today and say, "I skipped again." But what if I am the one who caused you to skip? What if the delay you are grieving with the protection you prayed for? My beloved child, you see missed chances. I see avoided disasters. You see closed doors. I see storms you never had to walk through. You see yourself standing still. I see you being positioned with precision. There are moments you begged me to move faster. There were nights you whispered, "Please, not again. Not another delay." And when the opportunity slipped away, when the call never came, when the plan collapsed once more, you felt embarrassed, ashamed, behind. But I was not apologizing because you failed. I was saying, "Sorry, my child, you are late to the pain that would have broken you. You are late to the trap that would have trapped you. You are late to the room that was never meant for you. You see it now. The urgency you feel is not about punishment. It is about revelation. I am interrupting the lie that you have fallen behind in life. You have not fallen behind. You have been held back for a reason, wrapped in love. Imagine a small child running ahead in a crowded street, thinking they are winning a race. The father reaches out and pulls them back just in time. The child may cry, "You made me late." But the father sees the car that almost turned the corner too fast. My beloved child, I see what you cannot see. This message is not about shame. It is about awakening. It is about understanding that my timing is not careless. When something skips again today, when the answer is delayed once more, when the door does not open yet, it is not because you are forgotten. It is because I am carefully, tenderly, deliberately arranging your steps. You are not late in my eyes. You are exactly where my hand is holding you. And before this message ends, I will show you why every late moment in your life has been a shield of mercy. My beloved child, let us go deeper into this ache you carry. The fear of being behind has been whispering to you for longer than you admit. It greets you in the morning when you scroll through the lives of others. It sits beside you at night when the house is quiet and your thoughts grow louder. It asks you questions that sting. Why are they further than you? Why are they celebrating while you are still waiting? What did you do wrong? I see how comparison has tried to wrap itself around your heart like a tight chain. You measure your journey against timelines that were never written for you. You count years like they are evidence against you. You look at your age, your bank account, your relationship status, your unfinished goals, and you quietly conclude, "I am late." But who told you there was only one schedule for life? Who told you that growth must look the same for everyone? My beloved child, I did not create you as a copy. I did not design you to bloom at the same hour as another. The flower, that blooms in spring is not inferior to the one that blooms in summer. They are both beautiful in their appointed season. If the summer flower tried to force itself open in the cold winds of spring, it would damage its own petals. And yet you have been trying to force yourself open. You have been rushing your healing, rushing your success, rushing your purpose. You have been pressuring yourself to arrive at a destination that I am still preparing. When you do not see visible progress, you assume you are regressing. When others announce milestones, you interpret your silence as failure. But silence does not mean stagnation. Think of a seed buried in the soil. From the outside, it looks forgotten. It looks like nothing is happening. Days pass. Rain falls. The surface remains unchanged. If the seed could think like you, it might say, I am late. The garden around me is already green. But beneath the soil, something sacred is unfolding. Roots are pushing through darkness. Strength is forming in hidden places. The delay is not death. It is development. My beloved child, you are in a season of rooting. The world celebrates what it can see. I celebrate what is forming inside you. While you worry about titles and timelines, I am shaping endurance in your spirit. While you fear you are behind financially, emotionally, or spiritually, I am teaching you lessons that cannot be learned at the finish line. You ask me, why does it feel like I am always starting over? And I answer you gently, you are not starting over. You are building deeper. Foundations are rarely visible, but they determine how high you can safely rise. If I allowed you to rise before your foundation was secure, the weight of your own blessing would crush you. Would you call it kindness if I gave you something you were not ready to carry? Would you call it love if I handed you success that hollowed you out? No, my beloved child. My love is wiser than that. My timing is not rushed by your anxiety. It is guided by my perfect understanding of who you are becoming. You see a race. I see a journey. You see competitors. I see individuals with unique paths. You see delay. I see preparation. Release the scoreboard you have been staring at. Lay down the heavy ruler you have been measuring yourself with. The pace of someone else's life has nothing to do with the purpose I have woven into yours. The story I am writing through you cannot be compared, because it is not a duplicate of anyone else's. You are not behind. You are becoming. And the becoming is more important than the arriving. Trust me in this space where nothing seems to be happening. Trust me when the calendar makes you nervous. Trust me when another announcement makes your heart sink for a moment. I am not overlooking you. I am not delaying you out of neglect. I am guiding you with precision. One day you will look back at this season you called late, and you will see it differently. You will see that it was a quiet workshop where your strength was crafted. You will see that while you feared being left behind, I was actually setting you apart. My beloved child, breathe. You are not racing against the world. You are walking with me. And I never lose track of where my child is supposed to be. My beloved child, I know how it feels when another door closes in front of you. I see the way your shoulders drop. I hear the sigh you tried to hide. You had hope this time. You told yourself, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the breakthrough. And when it did not happen, when the message did not come, when the interview did not lead anywhere, when the relationship faded, when the opportunity slipped quietly out of reach, you felt that familiar sting. It was not just disappointment. It was exhaustion. You whispered again. Why again? You started to wonder if you were doing something wrong. You questioned your worth. You replayed conversations in your mind. You search for mistakes. You ask me silently, why would you let me get this close just to close it? My beloved child, I did not bring you close to hurt you. I allowed you to approach so you could see clearly that it was not meant to hold your future. Some doors must close in front of you so they do not lock behind you. You see rejection. I see redirection. There are rooms you wanted to enter that would have drained your joy. There were agreements you almost signed that would have entangled you in stress. There were people you nearly attached your heart to who would have slowly diminished your light. You rue what you lost, but you do not see what you escape. Imagine walking through a beautiful hallway with many doors. One shines brightly. It looks perfect. You reach for the handle with excitement. But inside that room is a floor that is weak, a ceiling that is cracked, and air that is heavy. You cannot see it from the outside. I can. When I close a door, it is not to embarrass you. It is to protect you. You have asked me to guide you. You have prayed for clarity. You have begged me to keep you from harm. And when I answer those prayers by blocking something, you sometimes interpret it as punishment. But my beloved child, protection often feels like disappointment before it feels like relief. There were battles you never saw because I fought them before they reached you. Conversations about you that did not end the way the enemy intended. Situations that shifted quietly at the last moment. Plans that fell apart because they were never built on truth. While you were waiting anxiously, I was rearranging what could have wounded you deeply. You say, but it looked so good. Yes, it looked good. Not everything that glitters carries peace. Not everything that opens quickly is safe. I am not impressed by what shines, I am concerned with what sustains. You feel tired of starting over. You feel embarrassed explaining to others why things did not work out again. You feel like each closed door is evidence that you are behind. But listen to me. You are not behind. You are being steered. A ship at sea does not always move in a straight line. The captain adjusts the course again and again, sometimes in ways the passengers do not understand. If the captain sees a storm ahead, he changes direction before the sky even darkens. The passengers may complain about the delay, but the captain knows what they cannot see. I am your captain. There are storms I diverted you from. There are losses that would have been far greater than this temporary disappointment. What feels like a setback now would have been devastation later. I would rather let you feel a moment of confusion than allow you to endure years of regret. My beloved child, you interpret repeated closed doors as a sign that you are unworthy. But I tell you the truth. Some doors close because you are too valuable to settle there. Some paths end because your destiny does not live down that road. Trust that I am not careless with your heart. Trust that I am not playing with your hopes. Every no that pains you has passed through my loving hands first. If I allowed it to close, it is because something better, safer, and more aligned with your purpose awaits you. You may not see the full picture yet. You may still feel the sting. That is okay. Bring me your disappointment. I am not offended by your tears. But do not confuse a closed door with a closed future. Your future is still wide open in my hands. My beloved child, let me tell you a story so you can understand the tenderness hidden inside my delays. Imagine a small child walking with his father along a narrow path. The sky begins to darken. The wind grows stronger. The child, full of excitement and impatience, sees a house in the distance and runs ahead, thinking, if I move faster, I will get there first. But the father sees something the child cannot see. He sees that the bridge ahead is weak from the coming storm. He sees that one more strong gust could make it collapse. So the father calls out, slowed down. But the child keeps running. Then the father runs forward and gently pulls the child back, holding him firmly. The child protests. He cries, "You are making me late." I was almost there. The father does not argue. He simply holds him close until the storm passes and another, safer road becomes clear. My beloved child, you are that child more often than you realize. There have been storms forming in places you wanted to rush into. There were bridges that looked stable from a distance, but would not have held your weight. You saw opportunity. I saw instability. You saw excitement. I saw exhaustion waiting on the other side. When I slowed you down, you felt frustrated. When I redirected you, you felt confused. When I said not yet, you interpreted it as distance. But I was not pushing you away. I was pulling you closer to safety. Delay is not denial. Delay is protection wrapped in patience. You measure time in days and years. I measure it in readiness and purpose. You see a closed season and call it wasted. I see it as shelter. There are moments when moving forward would have broken you, not because you are weak, but because the weight of what you were chasing required more strength than you had built. Would you blame the farmer for waiting before harvesting fruit? If he plucks it too early, it will be sour and small. But if he waits even when it seems late, the fruit becomes sweet and full. Awaiting is not cruelty. It is cultivation. In this same way, I am cultivating you. There are lessons being rooted in your heart right now. Lessons of endurance. Lessons of discernment. Lessons of humility and wisdom. If I had allowed you to move ahead at the pace you demanded, you would have carried success without the maturity to protect it. My beloved child, I am not interested in giving you something temporary. I'm building something lasting in your life. And lasting things require preparation that cannot be rushed. I know you feel the tension of waiting. I know you feel the pressure of time. You look at others who seem to be crossing bridges you have not yet reached. But you do not see the cracks in their structures. You do not see the private struggles behind their progress. I am not guiding you by comparison. I am guiding you by care. Every time you thought you were falling behind, I was actually positioning you on firmer ground. Every time you felt like you had to skip again, I was ensuring that when you finally move, you will not have to retreat. Trust the hand that slows you. Trust the voice that whispers, "Not yet." Trust the pauses that feel uncomfortable. I would rather you hold than arrive quickly. I would rather you be strong than simply early. I would rather you walk in peace than run into pressure. My beloved child, my timing is not designed to frustrate you. It is designed to protect the version of you that is still becoming. One day, when you look back at the moments you called delay, you will see the storm that never touched you. You will see the bridge that would have collapsed. You will understand that my weight was never rejection. It was love, steady and unwavering, guiding your steps even when you did not understand the path. My beloved child, there is something I must gently correct in your heart. You keep saying, "I failed again. I skipped again. I missed it again." But what you call failure, I call redirection. You see a straight line that was interrupted. I see a dangerous curve that needed to be avoided. There were days when you felt ready. You gathered your courage. You stepped forward. And then something unexpected happened. The plan changed. The timing shifted. The opportunity dissolved. You stood there confused, replaying everything in your mind. If only I had tried harder. If only I had been faster. If only I had done it differently. My beloved child, it was not your lack that closed that path. It was my love that redirected your steps. Have you ever used a navigation system that suddenly recalculates the route? You are driving confidently, certain of your direction. Then a voice calmly says, "Rerouting." You may not see the accident ahead. You may not know that the road you were about to take is blocked. All you know is that your path has changed. You do not accuse the system of betrayal. You trust that it sees information you do not. In the same way, I recalculated your route. You think you skipped something important, but I shifted you away from conversations that would have entangled you in drama. I moved you out of rooms where your gifts would have been overlooked. I redirected you from partnerships that looked promising but carried hidden tension. You mourn what you thought was your breakthrough, but I see the weight you were spared from carrying. Sometimes redirection feels like rejection because you had already imagined the outcome. You had pictured the celebration. You had prepared your heart for that specific door to open. When it did not, you felt small. You felt embarrassed explaining to others why things did not go as planned. You quietly labeled yourself as behind. But my beloved child, you are not behind. You are being aligned. Alignment does not always feel dramatic. It often feels subtle, quiet, almost invisible. A missed call, a delayed response, a canceled meeting, a sudden change of heart. You interpret these as inconveniences. I orchestrate them as protection. There were paths you wanted to force open because you were tired of waiting. I saw how badly you wanted movement. I saw your frustration. But if I had allowed you to push through every closed door, you would now be carrying burdens that were never assigned to you. You think skipping means losing ground, but sometimes skipping means avoiding quicksand. There are people who would have smiled at you while quietly diminishing your confidence. There are environments that would have demanded so much from you that your joy would have slowly faded. There were commitments that would have tied your future to someone else's instability. You did not lose those things. I removed them. And I did it quietly, because my protection does not always announce itself. My beloved child, stop punishing yourself for what did not happen. Stop replaying moments and writing them in your mind as personal failures. You were not careless. You were not inadequate. You were not too late. You were redirected. When you look at your life as a series of missteps, you fill your heart with regret. But when you look at it through my eyes, you will see careful steering. You will see my hand gently adjusting your course, even when you resisted. You ask me, why does it feel like I keep starting over? Because sometimes the road you were on would not have led you where you truly desire to go. I would rather reroute you now than let you travel miles in the wrong direction. Trust that I know the destination better than you do. Trust that I understand which connections will strengthen you and which will weaken you. Trust that when something falls apart unexpectedly, it may be because it was never meant to carry the weight of your destiny. My beloved child, you are not stumbling through life alone. You are being guided. Even when it feels like a detour, even when it feels inconvenient, even when it feels unfair, my hand is steady on your journey. One day, you will look back at the moments you called skipped, and you will see them as sacred pivots. You will realize that what felt like loss was actually loving direction. And you will whisper with relief, "Thank you for not letting me go that way." My beloved child, there are battles you never saw, and that is why you misunderstand some of your delays. You live within what your eyes can see and what your ears can hear. But I see layers beyond the visible. I see intentions forming before words are spoken. I see traps being set long before you step near them. I see storms gathering while the sky above you is still clear. While you were waiting, I was fighting. There were conversations happening about you in rooms you have never entered. There were decisions being shaped that could have impacted your peace. There were plans unfolding that looked harmless on the surface but carried consequences beneath. And before those things could reach you, I intervened. You wondered why that opportunity suddenly dissolved. You thought perhaps you were overlooked. But I saw what would have unfolded 3 months later. I saw the stress that would have weighed on your shoulders. I saw the nights of anxiety you would have endured. So I blocked it early. You questioned why certain people drifted away without explanation. You felt confused, even rejected. But I saw the subtle ways they would have drained your energy. I saw the compromises you might have made just to keep them close. So I created distance before attachment turned into dependency. My beloved child, protection often feels invisible because I remove dangers before they ever become obvious. Imagine a father walking ahead of his child through a field. The grass is tall. The path looks peaceful. But the father sees a snake hidden among the weeds. The child sees only green beauty and wonders why the father suddenly changes direction. The child might even complain, "Why are we going this way? The other path looked easier." But the father knows what the child cannot see. In the same way, I have redirected you away from harm you never noticed. I have silenced threats before they spoke your name. I have weakened obstacles before they grew strong enough to block you. You think you have been delayed. In truth, you have been defended. There were moments when you felt spiritually tired, emotionally drained, and mentally confused. You thought it was because you were stuck. But some of that heaviness came from battles I was fighting on your behalf. You sensed tension without knowing its source. You felt resistance without seeing its origin. Yet through it all, I did not leave you unguarded. You prayed for protection many times, perhaps without even realizing how often you asked for it. When you whispered, "Keep me safe," I took that seriously. When you said, "Don't let me walk into something that will hurt me," I listened closely. And sometimes the answer to the prayer is a door that closes unexpectedly. Sometimes it is a delay that frustrates you. Sometimes it is a feeling that something is off, even when it looks perfect. My beloved child, I am always ahead of you. Before you step into tomorrow, I have already stood there. Before you meet someone new, I already know their heart. Before you sign what looks promising, I understand every detail you cannot see. This is not meant to make you fearful. It is meant to give you peace. You do not have to see every threat to be safe. You do not have to understand every delay to trust that it is working for you. My protection is not loud. It does not always announce itself with dramatic rescue. Often, it is quiet prevention. You call it inconvenience. I call it intervention. There are things that would have broken your confidence, shaken your faith, and distracted you from your true path. I removed them before they took root. I adjusted your schedule before conflict collided with you. I allowed certain plans to fall apart so that your life would not. My beloved child, when you feel like you are late, remember this: it is better to arrive safely than to arrive quickly. It is better to be guarded than to be rushed. Even when you cannot see the battle, know that I am fighting for you. Even when you feel still, know that I am moving on your behalf. And even when you think nothing is happening, heaven is not silent. You are not forgotten. You are defended. My beloved child, I know how heavy the word again feels to you. Again, the door did not open. Again, the message did not come. Again, the plan was postponed. Again, you told yourself to stay hopeful, only to feel that quiet disappointment settle in your chest. There is a special kind of tiredness that comes not from one setback, but from repeated ones. and you have been carrying that tiredness silently. You try to stay strong. You tell yourself not to overreact. You say, maybe tomorrow. But when tomorrow starts to look like yesterday, your heart begins to ache in a deeper way. It is not just about the opportunity anymore. It is about endurance. It is about wondering how many more agains you can handle. My beloved child, I see that exhaustion. I see the way your faith feels thinner than it used to. I see how you sometimes hesitate to hope too much because you are afraid of being disappointed again. You guard your expectations. You lower your excitement. You pretend you are fine so that if it falls apart, it will not hurt as much. But I do not ask you to pretend with me. You can bring me your weariness. You can bring me your frustration. I am not offended by your honesty. When you whisper, I am tired of this happening again, I do not turn away. I lean closer. Repetition can feel like rejection. When the same type of delay keeps appearing, you begin to question yourself. Is this a pattern? Is something wrong with me? Why does this keep happening? You search for hidden flaws. You wonder if you are being taught a lesson you do not understand. Sometimes repetition is not correction. It is construction. Think of a builder laying bricks. He does not place one brick and declare the wall complete. He repeats the motion again and again. To the outside observer, it may look monotonous, but each repeated action is strengthening the structure. Without repetition, the wall would not stand. In the same way, the again in your life is not proof that you are stuck. It is proof that something is being built within you. Every time you choose to hope again, even after disappointment, resilience grows. Every time you stand up after a setback, endurance strengthens. Every time you trust me through another delay, your roots sink deeper into faith. You think the repetition is wearing you down. In truth, it is shaping you. But I do not ignore the emotional weight of it. I know that even good growth can feel painful. Muscles ache when they are stretched. Hearts ache when they are tested. And you, my beloved child, have been stretched in ways you did not expect. There are moments when you feel embarrassed telling others that it did not work out again. You dread the sympathetic looks. You grow tired of explaining. So sometimes you simply say nothing. You carry the disappointment quietly, convincing yourself that it is easier that way. Yet I am aware of every silent sigh. When you lie awake at night and replay the day, when you wonder if tomorrow will bring the same outcome, I am there in that quiet room. I do not grow impatient with your questions. I do not criticize your weariness. I hold you steady when your strength feels thin. My beloved child, repetition does not mean abandonment. If something has been delayed again today, it is not because I am careless with your heart. It is because timing is still aligning. There are pieces still moving. There are details still unfolding beyond your sight. You are not being punished with repetition. You are being prepared through it. Again you fear is not a sentence. It is a season. And seasons do not last forever. There will come a day when you will say, this time is different. And it will be. The door will open. The answer will come. The shift will happen. And when it does, you will realize that the strength you gained through all the previous agains is what allows you to handle the blessing with grace. For now, rest your tired heart in me. You do not have to carry the weight of again alone. I am steady even when your patience feels fragile. I am faithful even when the pattern confuses you. And I promise you this, my beloved child, repetition in your life is not a sign of defeat. It is evidence that I am still working, still shaping, still guiding you towards something greater than you can yet imagine. My beloved child, one of the greatest tensions in your heart comes from the difference between your timeline and mine. You carry a clock inside your mind, and ticks loudly. It reminds you of your age, your goals, your unfinished dreams. It whispers deadlines. It compares your progress to others. It tells you that if something does not happen soon, it may never happen at all. But I do not live inside your clock. I am not pressured by months or limited by years. I am not anxious about birthdays or worried about schedules. I see the full landscape of your life at once. I see where you began, where you are now, and where you are going. And I move according to wisdom, not urgency. You often ask me, why is it taking so long? And I gently ask you in return, long compared to what? You compare your journey to someone who seems to be ahead, but you do not know the private timing of their story. You compare your progress to your expectations, but your expectations were shaped by what you saw around you, not by the path I designed specifically for you. My beloved child, my timing is not slow. It is precise. Think about the way seasons change. Winter does not apologize for taking its time. Spring does not rush because summer is eager. Each season arrives when conditions are right. If summer heat arrived too early, fragile blossoms would wither. If winter stayed too long, growth would struggle. In the same way, your life moves in seasons. Right now, you may feel buried like a seed under dark soil. You look at the surface and see nothing happening. You wonder if you have been forgotten. But beneath the soil, roots are forming. Roots do not grow in sunlight. They grow in darkness. They stretch quietly, building stability that will later support visible growth. If I pulled you up too soon, your roots would be shallow. The first strong wind would topple you. You ask me for elevation, but elevation without foundation is dangerous. You ask me for speed, but speed without strength leads to collapse. I care more about your endurance than your urgency. My beloved child, there are unseen details aligning around you. There are conversations happening in other places. There are circumstances shifting slowly. There are lessons settling into your heart. If even one key piece is out of place, the outcome would not be what you truly desire. You want everything to happen at once. I orchestrated piece by piece. When you feel stuck, it is often because I am synchronizing what you cannot see. You are one part of a larger picture. Your blessing may depend on another person's readiness. Your opportunity may require a door to close somewhere else first. Your breakthrough may be tied to timing beyond your control. This is why trust is so important. Trust does not grow in certainty. It grows in waiting. When you cannot see progress, when you cannot predict the outcome, when you cannot control the timeline, that is when your heart learns to lean on me instead of your own understanding. And that leaning is not weakness. It is maturity. You fear that time is slipping away, but I hold time in my hands. What is meant for you is not fragile. It will not expire because a calendar page turned. It will not disappear because someone else moved faster. My beloved child, release the panic of being behind. The clock you are listening to is not the one guiding your destiny. There is a divine rhythm to your life. It may not match the noise of the world, but it is steady, intentional, and good. One day you will see how perfectly everything fit together. You will notice how certain delays allowed other pieces to fall into place. You will recognize that if one event had happened earlier, it would have disrupted something even more beautiful. For now, breathe. You are not racing against time. You are walking within my timing. And my timing did not fail. My beloved child, there is a quiet fear that has been whispering to you. and I want to bring it into the light. It tells you that you miss your chance. It says the opportunity came and went, and now it is too late. It tries to convince you that there was a small window meant only for you, and because you did not step through it at the perfect moment, it closed forever. That fear hath been sitting heavily in your heart. You replay certain moments in your mind. You think about decisions you made, words you did not say, risks you did not take. You wonder, what if that was my only shot? What if I let it slip away? Regret tries to rewrite your story as one mistake too many. But listen to me carefully, my beloved child. What is truly meant for you cannot be stolen by a single misstep. I am not fragile in my plans for you. Your destiny is not balanced on one tiny, trembling moment. If something is part of the purpose I have written into your life, it will not vanish because you hesitated. It will not disappear because you needed more time to grow. It will not be handed permanently to another because you were still learning. You think opportunities are rare and delicate. I am abundant and sovereign. There are moments you thought were your only chance at love, your only chance at success, your only chance at recognition. When those moments passed, you felt a sharp grief, as if a door had locked forever. But you do not see the full hallway. You only saw one door. I see many. If a door closed and never reopened, it is because it was not the one that held your future. If someone walked away and did not return, it is because their role in your life was limited. If an opportunity faded and never came back, it is because I have something better aligned with who you are becoming. You are afraid of missing out, but you cannot miss what I have secured for you. Imagine a train that is truly assigned to you. It will not depart before you arrive at the platform I have prepared. It will not quietly leave while you are still being shaped for the journey. If it seems to have left, then it was never the train meant to carry your destiny. My beloved child, regret is heavy because it focuses only on what you think you lost. It does not consider what you were spared from. It does not imagine the alternate endings that could have unfolded. It narrows your vision to one path and calls it final. But I am not limited to one path. Even when you make mistakes, I weave them into growth. Even when you take detours, I can redirect them into purpose. You are not powerful enough to ruin the plans I have for you when your heart is seeking me. I am greater than your miscalculations. I am wiser than your fears. You ask, but what if that was my last chance? My beloved child, I do not operate in scarcity. I do not ration blessings like they are running out. I do not design a life for you that can be undone by one imperfect decision. What is for you will find you at the right time. It may arrive in a different form than you expected. It may come through a door you never noticed before. It may surprise you completely. But it will align with who you are becoming, not who you were when you felt rushed and afraid. Release the fear that you missed it. Release the belief that you are too late to step into something beautiful. Your story is still unfolding. The pages are still turning. The ink is still flowing. There are chapters you have not yet imagined. My beloved child, trust that I am not careless with your future. If something has passed, it is because it was not anchored to your true purpose. And what is anchored to your purpose cannot drift away. You have not missed your life. You are still walking directly within it. My beloved child, there is something you must understand about the doors I close. When I close something in your life, it is never empty space I leave behind. I do not remove without intending to replace. I do not subtract without preparing to add something greater. You stood before certain doors with hope shining in your eyes. You imagined what your life would look like if they opened. You planned conversations in your mind. You pictured the relief, the celebration, the sense of finally arriving. And when those doors did not open, it felt like silence. It felt like loss. But I closed it because I have better. You saw a single opportunity. I saw a limited ceiling. You saw potential. I saw pressure that would have slowly drained you. You saw what looked good enough. I saw what would truly fit your calling. My beloved child, sometimes you cry over what you would have eventually outgrown. There are rooms you were never meant to stay in permanently. If I allowed you to enter them, you would have decorated them, settled in them, and adjusted your dreams to fit their size. But I have prepared spaces for you that are wider, brighter, and more aligned with your true identity. Imagine a child crying outside a small store because he wanted a simple toy. The father gently pulls him away, even as the child protests. The child thinks the father is denying him joy, but the father is leading him toward a place with something far more beautiful than the small toy he was clinging to. In the same way, you were clinging to something that would have satisfied you temporarily. I am guiding you toward something that will sustain you deeply. When I say no, it is not rejection. It is refinement. When I say wait, it is not distance. It is design. When I say not this, it is because I have already seen that, the thing that will bring peace instead of pressure, growth instead of exhaustion, joy instead of constant striving. You must trust that my view is larger than yours. The closed door you mourn today will one day be the reason you say, "Now I understand." The opportunity that slipped away will be the one you thank me for removing. The relationship that ended will make room for one that honors your heart. The delay that frustrated you will align you with something stronger than you imagined. My beloved child, I am not interested in giving you what merely looks impressive. I am committed to giving you what is truly good for you. And now, as we rest in this truth together, I want to speak to the hearts who feel stirred to carry this message further. If this word has reached you in a moment of delay, if it has comforted you while you question my timing, then hear me clearly. When you sow into the spreading of my word, you are planting seeds into souls you may never meet. I declare to you that as it is written, I multiply the seed of the sower and increase the harvest of righteousness. When you release your support through super thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link placed in the description, and even in the QR code before you, you are not giving to a platform. You are opening doors for another weary heart to hear my voice. Let this be your moment of obedience and not hesitation. As you feel the nudge within you, that is me inviting you to partner in light. Do not ignore that stirring. Act on it. Sow boldly, and watch how I breathe increase back into your own life. What you place in my hands for my work, I bless, I expand, and I return with peace and provision. Step into this act of faith now. My beloved child, remember this. When I close one door, it is because I am preparing another that matches the depth of your becoming. Trust my no. Trust my better. Trust that what awaits you is not smaller, but greater than what you left behind. My beloved child, there is a kind of silence that feels heavier than noise. It is the silence that follows your prayers when no immediate answer comes. It is the silence that lingers after you have poured out your heart and heard nothing but the echo of your own breathing. It is the quiet that makes you wonder if anyone is responding at all. You have mistaken my silence for absence. You have wondered if I heard you. You have asked in moments of vulnerability, "Are you listening? Do you see me here? Do you understand how much this matters to me?" And when days turned into weeks, and weeks into longer stretches of waiting, the quiet began to feel personal. You tried to remain steady, but deep inside you questioned whether your words were reaching beyond the ceiling. My beloved child, I have never been absent from your cry. Silence is not the same as inactivity. When you do not hear me clearly, it does not mean I am not working. There are seasons when I move quietly because what I am shaping requires stillness. A seed does not split open with loud celebration. It breaks apart in darkness beneath layers of soil, far from applause. You are uncomfortable with silence because you equate it with neglect. But I am not neglecting you. I am nurturing something you cannot yet see. There were times when you asked me for a clear sign, and instead you received patience. There were moments when you begged for immediate clarity, and instead you received another ordinary day. You thought I was withholding from you, but I was strengthening something within you that could not be built through instant answers. If I responded to every prayer the moment you spoke it, your faith would depend on visible results. You would trust only what you could measure. But when you learn to trust me in silence, your roots grow deeper. Your faith becomes anchored not in outcomes, but in my character. My beloved child, I speak in more ways than you realize. Sometimes I speak through open doors, sometimes through closed ones, sometimes through a conversation that shifts your perspective, sometimes through a sudden sense of peace that settles over your anxious thoughts. But there are also times when my voice is not loud because I am teaching you to recognize my presence even without constant reassurance. A loving father does not abandon his child simply because he grows quiet while watching him learn to walk. He may step back slightly, allowing space for growth, but his eyes never leave the child. His hands remain ready to steady him if he stumbled. The child may feel alone for a moment, but he is never truly unattended. In the same way, I have been near you in every silent season. When you lay awake at night replaying your worries, I was there. When you stared at your phone hoping for news that never arrived, I was there. When you knelt in prayer and felt no immediate shift, I was there. When you tried to convince yourself that you were fine, even though you felt uncertain inside, I was there. My silence has never meant indifference. There are movements happening beyond your awareness. Conversations unfolding in other places, circumstances adjusting, hearts being prepared. Your life does not exist in isolation. The answers you seek often involve timing that connects with others. If I move it too quickly, something essential would be incomplete. You may not see progress, but unseen alignment is taking place. My beloved child, silence is often the workshop where strength is formed. In the quiet, you discover who you are without constant confirmation. In the waiting, you learn endurance. In the uncertainty, you learn to lean on me more deeply. You have grown more than you realize in this silent space. You have become more patient, more reflective, more aware of your own heart. These changes are subtle, but they are significant. They are shaping you into someone who can carry what you have been praying for. Do not let the quiet convince you that I am distant. I am closer than your breath. I am attentive to every thought you wrestle with. I am aware of every tear you try to hide. I am not ignoring your requests. I am preparing responses that align with your long-term good, not just your immediate relief. Trust that even when heaven seems still, it is not inactive. Trust that when you do not hear my voice clearly, I am still guiding your steps. Trust that silence is not a closed door, but a covered season of growth. My beloved child, you are not forgotten in the quiet. You are being formed within it. And when the time comes for the answer to emerge, you will see that the silence was never empty. It was full of unseen work, carefully unfolding for you. My beloved child, you keep saying you are late, but what if you are not late at all? What if you are simply being prepared? Preparation rarely feels exciting. It does not come with applause or visible milestones. It often feels like repetition, like obscurity, like effort that no one notices. You want arrival, but I am shaping readiness. You want the crown, but I am forming the character that can carry it without breaking. You have asked me for greater things, greater impact, greater stability, greater love, greater influence. But greater always requires devu. If I placed you in the position you desire without preparing your heart, the pressure would overwhelm you. If I gave you the platform before grounding your identity, you would measure yourself by applause. If I brought the relationship before healing certain wounds, you would love from insecurity instead of wholeness. My beloved child, preparation is protection. Think of a builder laying a foundation for a tall structure. The deeper the foundation, the taller the building can safely rise. But while the foundation is being poured, nothing impressive is visible. There are no shining windows, no decorated rooms, only concrete beneath the surface. To an outside observer, it may look like nothing is happening, but without that hidden strength, the structure would not stand. You are in a foundation season. You interpret this as being behind. I see it as being rooted. You compare your visible progress to others and feel small, but you do not know how deep I am building within you. I am strengthening your patience. I am refining your discernment. I am teaching you how to remain steady when emotions rise and fall. These lessons may not look impressive now, but they will matter when the weight increases. There were times in your past when you received something you were not fully ready for. You remember how overwhelming it felt. The stress, the confusion, the self-doubt. Now imagine that multiplied by the scale of what you are asking for today. Would you truly want that without preparation? I do not delay you to frustrate you. I prepare you because I love you. My beloved child, there are parts of you still healing. Old disappointments that left subtle scars. Quiet insecurities that sometimes whisper in moments of pressure. Habits of thinking that need gentle correction. If I placed you in your next season without addressing these things, they would follow you there. And I want you to thrive, not merely survive. Preparation often feels like waiting, but it is not empty. It is active growth. It is learning to respond instead of react. It is gaining wisdom from past mistakes instead of repeating them. It is understanding your own heart more clearly. You are becoming more grounded than you were a year ago. More self-aware. More thoughtful. Even your disappointments have shaped you. Even your delays have softened and strengthened you at the same time. You may not see the transformation because it has been gradual, but those around you can see it, and I see it most clearly of all. My beloved child, when the time comes for elevation, you will not need to scramble to adjust. You will not feel like an imposter in your own blessing. You will stand firmly because you have been prepared in secret. Do not despise this season. The hidden work is holy work. The quiet shaping is sacred. The stretching you feel is expanding your capacity. You are being trained to carry joy without arrogance, responsibility without fear, success without losing your soul. You are not late. You are being refined, and refinement takes time. Trust that I am not wasting your days. Trust that every moment of growth, every lesson learned, every tear shed in patience is part of the shaping process. One day, when you step into what you have been praying for, you will realize that the preparation was the greatest gift of all. My beloved child, I am not holding you back. I am building you up. My beloved child, there is a quiet struggle within you that you do not always confess out loud. It is the struggle of comparison. You may smile when others share their victories. You may clap for them, speak kind words, and truly want good things for their lives. But somewhere deep inside, a small voice begins to whisper, "Why not me? Why am I not there yet? What am I doing wrong?" That whisper grows louder when you are already feeling delayed. It points at someone else's promotion, someone else's engagement, someone else's breakthrough, and it tells you that you are behind. It convinces you that life is moving forward for everyone except you. My beloved child, comparison is a thief. It steals your gratitude. It distorts your perspective. It takes the unique story I am writing in your life and tries to measure it against a completely different design. You begin to question your worth, not because you have failed, but because you have looked sideways instead of forward. I did not create you to mirror another person's journey. I formed you with intention. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your background, your personality, your dreams, all of these are part of a design that cannot be duplicated. When you compare timelines, you are comparing two different assignments. Imagine two musicians playing different instruments in the same orchestra. One may have a melody that is loud and clear in one moment, while the other waits quietly for their cue. If the second musician becomes impatient and tries to play at the wrong time, the entire harmony is disrupted. The silence before their part is not insignificance. It is timing. In the same way, your season of waiting does not mean you have no value. It means your part is unfolding according to a rhythm that fits the greater picture. You do not see the full story of those you compare yourself to. You see the announcement, but not the anxiety. You see the celebration, but not the sleepless nights. You see the achievement, but not the hidden cost. And when you measure your everyday life against their highlight moments, you judge yourself unfairly. My beloved child, you are not late because someone else appears early. You are not less because someone else is visible. Visibility is not the same as fulfillment. Speed is not the same as stability. There are people who arrived quickly but were not prepared to stay. There are those who gained attention but lost peace. You do not know what I have spared you from by moving at your current pace. Comparison also blinds you to your own growth. You overlook the progress you have made because it feels small next to someone else's milestone. But growth is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is quieter choices. Healthy boundaries. Stronger reactions under pressure. A calmer response where you once would have panicked. These are victories too. My beloved child, when you fix your eyes on another path, you risk stepping out of alignment with your own. You may begin chasing goals that were never meant for you. You may pressure yourself into roles that do not fit your heart. And in trying to match someone else's journey, you may lose sight of the one I lovingly prepared for you. You are not competing for destiny. Destiny is not scarce. I do not distribute purpose like limited tickets that run out. What I have written for you cannot be claimed by another. When comparison rises in your heart, pause. Breathe. Bring that feeling to me without shame. I understand it. I know how easily it forms. But let me gently redirect you. Look at what I am building in you. Look at the strength you did not have before. Look at the wisdom you have gained. Look at the resilience you now carry. You are not the same person you were in the past. That is progress. My beloved child, your timeline is not broken. It is customized. The pace of your life is not a mistake. It is intentional. The rhythm may be different from those around you, but it is steady and purposeful. Release the need to measure yourself against another's chapter. You do not know where they started, and you do not know where they will end. Focus instead on walking faithfully in the space I have given you today. You are not behind. You are unfolding in the exact way you were designed to. And when your moment comes, it will not feel rushed or borrowed. It will feel right. Trust the uniqueness of your path. Trust the wisdom of my timing. Trust that you are becoming something beautiful, even if it does not look like anyone else's story. My beloved child, there is something you rarely consider when you feel delayed: the danger of arriving too soon. You focus on the pain of waiting. You think about the doors that have not opened and the milestones you have not reached. But you do not often think about what would happen if you stepped into certain things before you were ready to sustain them. You asked me to hurry. You asked me to release the blessing now. Yet you cannot see the weight attached to what you are requesting. Imagine fruit growing on a tree. From a distance, it may look ready. Its color begins to change. Its shape seems full. But if it is picked too early, it will not taste sweet. It will be hard, sour, and incomplete. Time is not its enemy. Time is what allowed it to become what it was meant to be. In the same way, there are aspects of your life that must mature before they can be enjoyed fully. If I had given you certain opportunities 5 years ago, you would have approached them with a different mindset. Perhaps with more insecurity. Perhaps with less wisdom. Perhaps with a need to prove yourself rather than a confidence rooted in identity. You might have received the blessing, but you would have struggled to protect it. My beloved child, early arrival can sometimes lead to early collapse. Success without stability can magnify hidden weaknesses. Influence without humility can distort character. Relationships without emotional maturity can create deeper wounds instead of lasting joy. I am not only concerned with giving you something impressive. I am concerned with giving you something enduring. You may look at others who seem to have reached their goals quickly and wonder why you are still waiting. But you do not know what pressures they are carrying behind the scenes. You do not see the cracks that sometimes form when growth outpaces preparation. I care too deeply about you to let that happen. There are qualities forming in you right now that will protect your future. Patience is guarding you from impulsive decisions. Discernment is teaching you to recognize what truly aligns with your purpose. Self-awareness is helping you respond with clarity instead of fear. These traits may not feel exciting. They may not bring applause. But they are strengthening you in ways that will matter greatly later. My beloved child, sometimes I slow your pace because the environment ahead is intense. The higher you climb, the stronger the winds become. If you rise without being anchored, the pressure will shake you. But when you are rooted deeply, you will stand steady even when circumstances shift. Do not confuse delay with denial. Do not interpret waiting as weakness. It takes courage to remain in preparation when you long for promotion. It takes humility to trust my timing when your own plans feel urgent. You are not being overlooked. You are being equipped. There are conversations you will one day navigate with wisdom you do not yet possess. There are responsibilities you will carry with calmness you are still developing. There are blessings that will require a level of emotional steadiness that is forming within you right now. If you arrive too soon, you might sabotage what you prayed for. My beloved child, I would rather you feel temporarily delayed than permanently damaged. I would rather you mature quietly than shine briefly and burn out. I would rather you step into your next season prepared and confident than rushed and uncertain. Trust that when the time is right, you will not have to force the door open. It will open with peace. You will sense alignment rather than anxiety. You will feel readiness instead of fear. Until then, let this season shape you without resentment. Let it strengthen your roots. Let it deepen your understanding of who you are and whose you are. You are not late. You are ripening. And when the moment of harvest comes, it will be sweet, steady, and lasting. My beloved child, you have called yourself skipped. You have said, I was overlooked. I was passed by. I was forgotten. But I tell you gently and firmly now, you were not skipped. You were spared. There is a difference. To be skipped feels like rejection. It feels like standing in a line while others are chosen ahead of you. It feels like invisibility. But to be spared is protection. It is my hand stepping in before harm reaches you. It is my wisdom intercepting what looked appealing but carried hidden cost. You have mourned opportunities that did not select you. You have wondered why your name was not called, why your application was not approved, why your effort did not result in immediate reward. You assumed that if it did not happen, it must mean you were not good enough. But my beloved child, sometimes what you were not chosen for would have slowly diminished you. There were environments where your voice would not have been valued. There were roles that would have required you to compromise your peace. There were spaces where your kindness would have been mistaken for weakness. You thought you were being denied advancement. I knew you were being protected from erosion. Imagine a traveler who boards a ship that looks grand and promising. It is celebrated. It is admired. But hidden within its structure is weakness that will reveal itself later. If the traveler is prevented from boarding, he may feel disappointed. He may feel embarrassed as others wave goodbye and sail away. Yet if the ship encounters disaster, the one who was prevented will understand the mercy in the delay. My beloved child, I have prevented you from boarding certain ships. You were not meant to tie your future to every opportunity that appeared impressive. Some paths glittered but were unstable. Some connections seemed exciting but were unsteady beneath the surface. You say, but it looked perfect. Yes, it looked perfect from your limited view. But I saw the long-term impact. I saw how it would affect your heart, your mind, your spiritual health. I saw stress accumulating. I saw compromises forming. I saw exhaustion becoming normal. And because I love you, I stepped in. You call it missed opportunity. I call it preserved peace. There were relationships that did not progress the way you hoped. You felt unwanted. You questioned your value. But I saw dynamics that would have left you constantly striving for approval. I saw patterns that would have reopened old wounds. I saw the imbalance that would have drained your joy. You were not rejected. You were rescued. My beloved child, it is difficult to celebrate what you never experienced. It is hard to be grateful for a disaster that never happened. You only feel the surface disappointment. You do not feel the deeper harm that was avoided. But trust me when I say this, some of your greatest blessings have come disguised as closed doors. There are stories you will never have to live because I redirected you. There are heartaches you will never have to endure because I intervened early. There are consequences you will never have to face because I shielded you before the decision was finalized. You are not fragile in my care. You are guarded. And guarding sometimes looks like loss at first. One day, clarity will come. You will look back and see how certain outcomes would have limited you. You will recognize how much you would have had to sacrifice to maintain something that was never aligned with your true calling. For now, you may not see the full picture, but you can trust my heart. My beloved child, you are not forgotten in the line. You are not invisible in the crowd. You are not the one left behind while others move forward. You are the one I carefully positioned. If something did not include you, it is because it was not meant to define you. If something moved forward without you, it is because your path is moving differently. Do not call yourself skipped again. Call yourself spared. Call yourself protected. Call yourself guided. Because every step I have withheld from you was not cruelty. It was love acting before you understood why. My beloved child, you live by calendars and clocks, but I move beyond them. You count the years. You measure progress by birthdays, deadlines, and milestones. You feel the pressure of time passing. You say, I should have been there by now. You look at the date and let it determine your value. But I am not bound by the ticking of your clock. Heaven's calendar is different. What feels late to you is not late to me. What feels urgent to you is not rushed to me. I see the full tapestry of your life from beginning to end. I am not reacting to events as they unfold. I already understand how each moment connects to the next. You experience life in fragments, one day at a time, one decision at a time. I see the complete picture. I see how one delay protects a future joy. I see how one closed door prevents a greater sorrow. I see how one waiting season prepares you for a responsibility you have not yet imagined. My beloved child, when you say, I am running out of time, you are speaking from fear, not from truth. Time does not control your destiny. I do. There were moments in your past when you thought something was over forever. You believed an opportunity was gone beyond recovery. Yet later, something unexpected emerged. A new path opened. A better connection formed. A stronger version of you stepped forward. What you thought was final turned out to be transitional. That is because I am not limited to one narrow window. You worry that if something does not happen by a certain age, it never will. You fear that if you do not achieve a goal within a certain season, it is lost permanently. But my plans for you are not fragile deadlines. They are anchored in purpose. Imagine reading only one paragraph of a long book and deciding you know the entire story. That is how it is when you judge your life by a single season. You are still in the middle of chapters that have not fully unfolded. My beloved child, I exist outside of time. I am not hurried. I am not anxious. I am not scrambling to fix mistakes. I weave all things together with intention. When you feel behind, it is often because you are comparing your chapter to someone else's page number. But their timeline is not your timeline. Their journey is not your assignment. There are things I am aligning that require exact timing. Certain people must grow in their own ways before crossing your path. Certain circumstances must shift before they can support your blessing. Certain internal changes must settle in you before you can handle what you are asking for. If I move it too early, something essential would be missing. Trust that I know how to synchronize your life. Trust that I understand when to accelerate and when to slow you down. Trust that what is meant to meet you will meet you at the right moment. My beloved child, heaven is not late. When you feel the pressure of time, bring it to me. Release the anxiety that says you are falling behind. You are not drifting aimlessly. You are being guided through a timeline that is more intricate than you can see. Even delays fit into my design. Even detours serve a purpose. Even seasons of stillness are accounted for. You are not at the mercy of the clock. You are held within my care. One day you will see how perfectly events align. You will recognize how certain delays prevented chaos. You will understand why certain beginnings had to wait until certain endings occurred. For now, rest in this truth. You are not racing against time. You are walking within my eternal perspective. And my perspective does not miscalculate. My beloved child, let go of the fear that you are too late. In my hands, you are exactly where you need to be. My beloved child, so much of what I am doing in your life is happening beneath the surface. You look around and see little change. You measure your progress by visible results. You search for signs that something is shifting. But the most important work I am doing right now cannot be seen with your eyes. Think again of the seed buried in the soil. From above, the ground looks still. There is no movement, no color, no evidence of life. If you judged only by what you could see, you would assume nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, roots are stretching. Fighters are forming. Strength is developing in darkness. You are in a beneath-the-surface season. You wonder why you do not feel dramatic breakthroughs. You question why doors are not swinging open. You ask why everything seems so ordinary. But ordinary days are often where extraordinary foundations are laid. While you wait, I am aligning circumstances you cannot yet perceive. I am softening hearts that will one day support you. I am shifting conversations in places you have never been. I am preparing spaces that are not yet ready to receive you. You think you are standing still. I know you are being positioned. There are unseen adjustments happening in your character as well. You respond to stress differently than you once did. You recover from disappointment more quickly. You're learning to pause before reacting. You are becoming more aware of your own patterns. These changes may not feel dramatic, but they are significant. If I were to show you everything I am orchestrating right now, it would overwhelm you. There are details being woven together that require patience. Your life is not a single thread. It is part of a larger tapestry. Imagine a craftsman working on a detailed design. From the back side of the fabric, it looks tangled and confusing. Threads cross in directions that seem chaotic. But from the front, a clear image is forming. You are viewing your life from the back side. I see the finished design. My beloved child, do not assume inactivity just because you cannot see movement. Even now, pieces are shifting. There are relationships being prepared for future connection. There are opportunities slowly taking shape. There are skills developing within you that will become essential later. Sometimes I hide my work because if you saw the entire process, you would try to control it. You would attempt to speed it up. You would interfere with the timing. But hidden work allows me to build without interruption. Trust that I am not idle. Trust that I am not distant. Trust that while you rest, while you pray, while you simply go through your day, I am actively shaping what comes next. You may feel small in this season. You may feel unnoticed. But unseen without me on board. The roots that grow deepest are the ones that hold strongest in storms. And I am growing roots within you that will anchor you when winds increase. My beloved child, I know you crave visible progress. I know you long for something tangible to celebrate. But sometimes the greatest progress is internal. You are becoming more grounded, more resilient, more discerning, more patient. These qualities will support the visible blessings when they arrive. Do not despise this hidden season. Do not rush past it in your heart. There is sacred work unfolding here. One day, when growth finally breaks through the surface, you will be tempted to call it sudden. Others may say you rose quickly. But you will know the truth. You will know that what looked sudden was built slowly and carefully in secret. My beloved child, I am working even when you cannot see it. I am building even when you cannot measure it. I am preparing even when you cannot feel it. Rest in this assurance. Nothing in your life is stagnant. Beneath the surface, I am crafting something steady and strong for you. My beloved child, there is strength being built in you right now that could not be formed any other way. You often pray for strength, but when strength begins to grow, it does not feel comfortable. It feels like pressure. It feels like resistance. It feels like carrying more than you expected. You think you are barely holding on, yet in reality, you are becoming steadier than you realize. Strength is not developed in ease. It is shaped in endurance. When everything flows smoothly, you do not have to dig deep. But when plans shift, when doors close, when silence lingers, you are forced to stretch beyond your natural comfort. You are learning to remain calm when answers are delayed. You are learning to keep moving when clarity is limited. You are learning to trust me when you cannot trace what I am doing. That is strength. There was a time when a small setback would have shaken you for weeks. You would have spiraled into doubt, questioned your worth, replayed every detail. And now, though you still feel disappointment, you recover more quickly. You breathe. You reflect. You bring your questions to me. That growth did not happen overnight. It was shaped through repeat and challenges. Through those again moments you thought were breaking you. Through those quiet seasons you thought were wasting your time. My beloved child, endurance is a gift. It allows you to walk through uncertainty without losing your peace completely. It allows you to stand in waiting without collapsing under frustration. It allows you to hold hope even when evidence feels thin. Endurance is not loud. It does not demand attention. But it is powerful. Think of a tree standing through strong winds. Its strength is not proven on calm days. It is proven when storms push against it. The deeper its roots, the less it sways. The stronger its trunk, the more confidently it remains upright. You have faced winds. You have faced disappointments, unanswered prayers, shifting plans. Yet you are still here. You are still seeking me. You are still hoping. That alone is evidence of strength forming within you. My beloved child, I am building in you a quiet confidence. Not arrogance, not pride, but a steady assurance that you can survive difficulty without losing yourself. You are learning that your identity is not tied to immediate success. You are discovering that you can endure seasons of waiting without giving up on your future. This strength will matter later. There will be moments ahead that require calm judgment. There will be blessings that bring responsibility. There will be opportunities that demand resilience. If you did not build endurance now, those moments would overwhelm you. You sometimes interpret your struggles as signs that you are not ready. But in truth, the struggles are making you ready. You are learning patience in a world that rushes. You are learning discernment in a culture that reacts quickly. You are learning to pause, to pray, to think deeply before moving. These are not small lessons. My beloved child, do not despise the weight you have been carrying. It is strengthening muscles you will rely on in the future. The emotional stamina you are developing will allow you to handle joy without fear and responsibility without panic. You may not feel strong. You may feel tired. But strength is not the absence of tiredness. It is the decision to continue despite it. Every time you choose trust over despair, strength grows. Every time you choose hope over bitterness, strength grows. Every time you choose patience over impulsiveness, strength grows. You are not fragile. You are forming. And one day, when you stand in a place of stability, when you handle pressure with grace, when you navigate complexity without losing peace, you will realize that this season was not meant to defeat you. It was meant to fortify you. My beloved child, I am not just preparing blessings for you. I am preparing you for the blessings. And the strength forming within you now will carry you further than speed ever could. My beloved child, every season of waiting eventually becomes a test of trust. Not a test meant to shame you. Not a test designed to expose your weakness. but a sacred invitation to lean more deeply into my heart when your own understanding feels incomplete. Waiting stretches you because it removes your sense of control. It places you in a space where you cannot force outcomes, where you cannot predict every detail, where you must decide whether you will trust me or surrender to fear. You often want clarity before you choose peace. You want visible confirmation before you release your anxiety. You want guarantees before you step forward. But trust does not grow in the presence of guarantees. It grows in the presence of uncertainty. There have been moments when you stood quietly, wrestling with decisions. You ask yourself, is this the right step? Am I moving too soon? Am I too late? You searched for a sign so obvious that it would remove all doubt. Yet instead of dramatic direction, I offered you something quieter, my steady presence. Trust is not always loud. It is often a quiet choice. Imagine a child walking through a dimly lit path at night, holding the hand of a loving father. The child cannot see what lies ahead. The shadows stretch long. Every unfamiliar sound feels magnified. The child might wish for daylight, for complete visibility. But what truly keeps the child moving is not the brightness of the path. It is the strength of the hand holding theirs. My beloved child, my hand has never left yours. When you feel uncertain about your next move, I am still guiding you. When you question whether you made the right decision, I am still weaving purpose into it. When the future feels foggy and undefined, I still see every step clearly. Trust does not mean you will never feel doubt. It means you choose to move forward even when doubt whispers. You have tried at times to control the outcome because uncertainty made you uncomfortable. You planned every scenario in your mind. You rehearsed conversations. You calculated risks. You tried to ensure that nothing could surprise you. But control is not the same as security. Control often creates more anxiety because you are trying to carry weight that was never meant for you. Peace begins when you release what you cannot manage. My beloved child, you are not required to understand every detail of my plan. You are not responsible for orchestrating the timing. You are not asked to see the entire picture. You are simply invited to trust the one who does. Trust means believing that when I close a door, I am not confused. When I delay something, I am not careless. When I redirect you, I am not punishing you. Trust means accepting that my perspective is wider than yours and that my intentions toward you are always rooted in love. Look at your own journey. You have already trusted me more than you realize. Each time you prayed again after disappointment, that was trust. Each time you resisted bitterness, that was trust. Each time you chose not to give up entirely, that was trust. Even when you questioned me, you still turned toward me instead of away. It is trust growing quietly within you. Trust is not false confidence. It is persistent faith. You may still have moments when fear rises. You may still wonder how everything will unfold. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are human. What matters is that you continue placing your uncertainty in my hands instead of letting it define you. When the future feels overwhelming, narrow your focus. Take the next honest step. Do what is wise today. Speak with kindness. Rest when you are tired. Pray even when you feel unsure. Leave tomorrow's complexity to me. My beloved child, you do not need to see the entire road to take the next step. You do not need to understand the full design to trust the designer. The fog ahead is not a sign that you are lost. It is an invitation to draw closer to me. In the fog, you cannot rely on distant landmarks. You rely on relationship. Keep holding my hand. Even when you cannot see far ahead, I can. Even when you question the pace, I know the destination. Even when you feel uncertain, I am steady. You are not walking alone through this season. You are walking with me, and I will not lead you where my love cannot sustain you. My beloved child, there are moments when my answer to you has been not yet, and you have struggled to understand why. You heard the delay and interpreted it as distance. You felt the pause and assumed it was rejection. But I want you to see this clearly now. Not yet is often one of the deepest forms of love. Love does not always say yes immediately. Love considers consequences. Love looks ahead. Love protects you from timing that would wound rather than bless. You have prayed with sincerity. You have asked for doors to open, for relationships to flourish, for opportunities to arrive. And when the answer did not come as quickly as you hoped, you felt overlooked. You wondered if your desire was wrong. You questioned whether you were worthy of what you requested. My beloved child, your desires are not invisible to me, but neither are the details you cannot see. If I were to say yes to everything at the moment you asked, you would step into seasons that are not fully prepared to hold you. There are times when your heart is ready for the idea of something, but not yet ready for the responsibility that comes with it. Not yet is not a dismissal. It is refinement. Think of a sculptor shaping stone. Each strike of the tool is intentional. The sculptor does not rush to finish the statue in one afternoon. He works patiently, carefully removing what does not belong. If he hurried, the structure could crack. If he struck too hard too soon, the design would be ruined. In the same way, I am shaping you with intention. You see delay as stagnation. I see it as careful carving. I am removing fear. I am smoothing impatience. I am strengthening wisdom. I am deepening humility. These qualities will matter when the blessing arrives. My beloved child, sometimes what you ask for today would overwhelm the version of you that exists right now. Not because you are incapable, but because growth is still unfolding. I do not want to hand you something that creates pressure you are not yet equipped to handle. I want you to enjoy what I give you, not endure it. There have been times in your past when you received something too quickly. You remember how it felt, exciting at first, but later heavy. You had to learn through experience what patience would have taught you more gently. Now, I am protecting you from repeating that cycle. When I say not yet, I am aligning more than just your schedule. I am aligning your heart, your environment, your connections, and your inner strength. I am ensuring that when the door opens, you walk through it with clarity instead of confusion. It is easy to celebrate yes. It is harder to embrace wait. But waiting refines desire. It reveals whether you truly want something for the right reasons. It teaches you to seek me more than the gift itself. And when your heart becomes anchored in me rather than in the outcome, you are ready to receive without losing balance. My beloved child, do not interpret my pauses as punishment. If something has not happened yet, it does not mean it will never happen. It means timing still matters. It means alignment is still forming. It means preparation is still unfolding. Trust that I am not withholding goodness from you. Trust that my delays are protective, not careless. Trust that I know exactly when your heart, your circumstances, and your calling will meet in harmony. One day, when the not yet becomes now, you will understand the beauty of the waiting. You will see how the delay deepened your gratitude. You will recognize how the preparation strengthened your peace. My beloved child, love does not rush what must be built carefully. And my love for you is patient, intentional, and wise. When I say not yet, I am not pushing you away. I am guiding you toward a moment that will be right, steady, and full. Trust my timing. Trust my heart. Trust that what I am preparing for you is worth the wait. My beloved child, there are tears you have cried that no one else has seen. Tears you wiped away quickly so others would not ask questions. Tears that fell in the quiet of your room when you felt the weight of delay pressing against your heart. Tears that came not only from pain, but from confusion. You tried to be strong. You tried to stay hopeful. But sometimes the disappointment felt too heavy to carry without breaking. I saw every one of those tears. Not one of them was wasted. Not one of them fell unnoticed. When you felt alone in your sadness, when you wondered if anyone truly understood how deeply this season was affecting you, I was closer than you realized. You may think your tears are a sign of weakness. You may feel embarrassed by how much certain delays hurt you. But tears are not weakness. They are evidence that you care. They reveal that your heart is invested, that your hopes are alive. And I treasure a heart that hopes. There were nights when you lay awake, replaying the same questions. Why hasn't this changed? Why is this taking so long? What am I missing? You stared at the ceiling, exhausted by your own thoughts. You longed for relief. You longed for clarity. My beloved child, even in those restless hours, I was present. You are not invisible in your waiting. You are not forgotten in your struggle. The pain you feel in this season is not meaningless. It is shaping compassion within you. It is deepening your empathy. It is teaching you to understand others who will one day sit across from you with similar questions. One day, your tears will become part of your testimony. You will sit with someone who feels late, who feels overlooked, who feels confused. And because you have walked through this valley, your words will carry sincerity. You will not speak from theory. You will speak from experience. Your comfort will be authentic because you know what it feels like to wait. But even before that day arrives, know this: your tears matter to me now. I do not rush you past your emotions. I do not criticize you for feeling disappointed. I do not expect you to pretend that everything is easy. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to grieve what you hoped would have happened by now. Grief does not mean you lack faith. Sometimes grief simply means you trusted deeply. My beloved child, I am tender toward your sorrow. When you feel like you are holding everything together for everyone else, remember that you do not have to hold it together with me. You can lay your frustration at my feet. You can admit that you are tired. You can confess that you are confused. I am not threatened by your honesty. In fact, your honesty draws you closer to me. Every tear has watered the soil of your heart. Every moment of vulnerability has softened you in ways that pride never could. There is humility forming in you. There is depth growing in you. There is resilience developing through each wave of emotion. You may not see it yet, but these tears are not a sign that you are falling apart. They are part of the process that is refining you. My beloved child, when the day of breakthrough comes, it will taste sweeter because of the tears you have cried. Gratitude will rise from a deeper place. Joy will feel richer. Peace will feel more secure. Until that day, I am with you in the in-between. I am with you in the quiet sobs. I am with you in the tired sighs. I am with you in the whispered prayers that feel small. You are not crying alone. Your tears are counted. Your heart is held. And even in this emotional season, you are not late. You are being gently carried through something that will one day make sense. Trust that I am near. Trust that your pain is seen. Trust that I am turning even your tears into something beautiful. My beloved child, I know that after so much waiting, it can feel dangerous to hope again. You have guarded your heart. You have lowered your expectations to protect yourself from another wave of disappointment. You have told yourself, I will not get excited this time. I will not imagine too much. You think that by shrinking your hope, you are shielding yourself from pain. But I did not create you to live without expectation. There is a turning point approaching, even if you cannot see it clearly yet. Seasons do not last forever. Winter does not argue with spring. Night does not debate with dawn. Change is built into the rhythm of life, even when it feels delayed. You may feel like you have been standing in the same place for a long time, but beneath the surface shifts are happening. A conversation is forming somewhere you cannot hear it yet. A door is being prepared in a place you have not visited. A heart is being softened in a way you cannot influence. A solution is unfolding in details you cannot trace. Yes, because you cannot see movement does not mean momentum is absent. My beloved child, the turning point rarely announces itself loudly in advance. It begins quietly. A subtle shift in perspective. A new sense of calm where anxiety once ruled. An unexpected opportunity. A small piece of news that begins to change direction. When the shift comes, it may not look dramatic at first, but you will feel it. There will be a steadiness instead of confusion. There will be clarity instead of chaos. There will be alignment instead of tension. You have endured the refining. You have walked through the waiting. You have wrestled with doubt and chosen trust anyway. These things are not unnoticed. They are not forgotten. Every season of preparation leads somewhere. You are not stuck in a cycle that will repeat forever. You are moving through a process that has a purpose. The repetition you feared was shaping you for a moment that is drawing closer. Imagine a door that has been locked for a long time. You have tried the handle before, and it did not move. You walked away discouraged. But while you were gone, adjustments were made on the other side. Hinges were repaired. Obstacles were removed. The key was shaped more precisely. When you approach it again, it will open differently. My beloved child, hope is not foolish. It is faith stretching forward. Do not let past delays convince you that future breakthroughs are impossible. Just because something has not happened yet does not mean it never will. Sometimes the greatest changes come after the longest silence. I am not teasing you with false anticipation. I am guiding you toward fulfillment that matches your growth. You have changed through this season. You are more grounded, more discerning, more resilient. The version of you that will step into what is coming is stronger than the version who first began waiting. And that matters. The turning point is not only about circumstances shifting. It is about you being ready to receive what once might have overwhelmed you. My beloved child, lift your head gently. You do not have to force excitement, but allow room for hope again. Allow yourself to believe that the story is still unfolding in your favor. Even now, I'm aligning timing. Even now, I am opening paths. Even now, I am guiding steps that will intersect with yours. You are closer than you think. The long night is not endless. The heavy season is not permanent. The confusion will not define the rest of your life. A shift is coming. Not rushed, not chaotic, but steady and purposeful. Trust me as it unfolds. Trust that when it happens, you will recognize my hand in it. Trust that the same love that carried you through the delay will carry you into the breakthrough. My beloved child, the turning point is nearer than your fear would allow you to believe. My beloved child, there is something beautiful about restoration that you have not yet fully understood. You think in terms of replacement. If something was lost, you hope for something similar to take its place. If time passed without fulfillment, you wish to recover what slipped away. But I do not merely replace. I restore in ways that carry depth, wisdom, and strength that did not exist before. You look at the years you call late and feel regret. You look at missed opportunities and feel as if something has been permanently reduced. You wonder if you will ever catch up to where you thought you would be by now. But I do not measure your life by what you think you lost. I measure it by what I am building through it. Restoration is not about returning you to the exact point where you once stood. It is about bringing you forward with greater clarity and capacity than before. What you gain after a season of delay often carries more stability than what you would have gained without the waiting. Imagine a field that has gone through a harsh season. The soil may look dry and unproductive. It may seem as though nothing good can grow there again. But when rain returns and careful tending begins, the soil often becomes richer than before. What looked barren becomes fertile. In the same way, the areas of your life that felt empty are being prepared for new growth. My beloved child, nothing I allow is wasted. The time you spent waiting has deepened your understanding. The tears you cried have softened your heart. The disappointments you endured have sharpened your discernment. These qualities will shape the restoration you are about to experience. When I restore, I do not give you something fragile. I give you something rooted. You may have lost confidence in certain areas. You may feel as though you are starting behind others. But restoration does not begin from your sense of lack. It begins from my abundance. There are relationships that will enter your life with more alignment than the ones you lost. There are opportunities that will carry more peace than the ones that slipped away. There are seasons ahead that will reflect the maturity you have gained. You think you are behind schedule. I see that you are being positioned for something more fitting. Restoration often feels surprising. It does not always look like the original plan. Sometimes it comes through unexpected doors. Sometimes it arrives in forms you did not anticipate. But when it comes, you will recognize that it fits you better than what you once desired. My beloved child, do not cling to the exact shape of what you thought your life would look like. Allow me to redefine it with wisdom. You feared that delay meant permanent loss. But delay hath been cultivating something stronger beneath the surface. What you receive next will not be a rushed substitute. It will be a thoughtful gift shaped by everything you have learned. There is a sweetness in restoration that cannot be experienced without first walking through absence. Gratitude becomes deeper. Joy becomes steadier. Peace becomes more secure. You will not look at your future with the same impatience you once carried. You will value it differently because you understand what it costs to wait. My beloved child, I am not simply returning what was lost. I am multiplying insight, resilience, and perspective alongside. Trust that nothing meaningful has been permanently taken from you. Trust that what is coming will not feel like second best. Trust that restoration in my hands is not partial, is intentional. You will not always understand how it unfolds. But when you look back, you will see how the piece is connected. The time you thought was wasted was shaping capacity. The door you thought was final was making room for better. The delay you feared was preparing you for a blessing that matches who you are now, not who you were before. My beloved child, restoration is not a rumor in your life. It is part of your story. And when it fully unfolds, you will realize that you were never truly behind. You were being prepared for something richer than you imagined. My beloved child, pause with me for a moment and hear this clearly. In this very season, in this exact place, you are where you need to be. I know that truth feels difficult to accept. You look at your circumstances and see what is unfinished. You see what has not yet shifted. You see doors still closed, answers still forming, dreams still waiting. And you tell yourself, if I were truly where I am supposed to be, things would look different by now. But you are measuring your position by comfort instead of by purpose. The right place is not always the most exciting place. It is not always the place of applause, visibility, or rapid movement. Sometimes the right place is quiet. Sometimes it feels ordinary. Sometimes it stretches you in ways you did not expect. You imagine that your real life will begin when something changes, when the opportunity arrives, when the relationship forms, when the breakthrough happens. But my beloved child, your life is not on hold. It is unfolding now. This chapter is not a waiting room outside your destiny. It is part of your destiny. If I removed you from this season too soon, you would miss what it is building within you. There are lessons here that cannot be learned in the next chapter. There are qualities being shaped that require this exact environment. There are insights forming that depend on this specific tension. You may feel small where you are. You may feel unnoticed or underutilized. But your location does not define your value. A seed buried beneath the soil looks insignificant from above. It is unseen, covered, and hidden. Yet beneath the surface, it is becoming what it was designed to be. You are in a becoming season. My beloved child, do not mistake hidden growth for misplaced direction. There are conversations you are having now that are teaching you patience. There are frustrations you are facing that are teaching you self-control. There are responsibilities you are managing that are building discipline. These may not seem glamorous, but they are forming the foundation for what comes next. Think of a student in a classroom. The classroom is not the final destination. It is preparation. The assignments may feel repetitive. The lessons may seem simple. But each concept builds on the previous one. Without mastering the basics, the advanced level would feel overwhelming. You are mastering foundations. If I moved you forward without strengthening these areas, the pressure of the next season would feel too heavy. I care more about your sustainability than your speed. I care more about your maturity than your momentum. My beloved child, stop speaking of this moment as if it is a mistake. You are not stuck. You are being strengthened. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. You are not behind. You are positioned. When you constantly project yourself into the future, you rob today of its purpose. When you replay the past, you miss the quiet opportunities available right now. There are skills you can sharpen. There are relationships you can deepen. There is gratitude you can cultivate even here. Look carefully. There are blessings present in this season that you would not notice if everything had already changed. Growth rarely announces itself loudly. It happens in ordinary days, in consistent effort, in quiet reflection, in small choices made faithfully. My beloved child, the discomfort you feel is not evidence that you are misplaced. It is evidence that transformation is taking place. Growth creates tension. Transition feels unfamiliar, but unfamiliar does not mean wrong. One day, you will look back at this exact moment and understand why you needed to be here. You will see how this season taught you restraint, how it refined your desires, how it clarified what truly matters to you. You will recognize that what felt slow was actually strategic. For now, release the resistance. Stop telling yourself you should be somewhere else. Trust that my wisdom has not miscalculated your steps. You are not wandering without direction. You are walking through a chapter that has purpose, even if it feels quiet. My beloved child, you are exactly where you need to be for the version of you that is emerging. And when it is time to move, you will move with readiness instead of regret. Until then, rest in this place. I am here with you. And from here, I am guiding you forward. My beloved child, there is a word you have used too freely over your life: failure. You have labeled seasons as failures. You have called certain relationships failures. You have named attempts that did not succeed the way you hoped as failures. And each time you used that word, it quietly shaped how you saw yourself. But I want to gently remove that label from your heart. Not everything that did not work out is a failure. Sometimes it is a lesson. Sometimes it is redirection. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is preparation. But rarely is it the final definition of who you are. You look back at moments when you tried and did not achieve the outcome you expected. You feel embarrassment. You replay what you could have done differently. You imagine that others are judging you more harshly than they truly are. And slowly, you begin to question your own ability. My beloved child, growth rarely looks like constant success. Think of a child learning to walk. The child falls many times before walking steadily. Would you call each fall a failure? Or would you call it part of learning? The fall is not the opposite of progress. It is part of it. In the same way, the things that did not work out in your life were not proof that you are incapable. They were part of your development. You have gained wisdom through mistakes. You have gained clarity through disappointment. You have gained resilience through attempts that did not succeed. Failure, as you define it, suggests finality. It suggests that something is over, that it cannot be redeemed. But in my hands, nothing is wasted. Even the choices you regret have taught you something. They have revealed your patterns. They have shown you where healing is still needed. They have strengthened your discernment. They have sharpened your awareness. You are not the same person you were when you made those decisions. Alone is evidence of growth. My beloved child, when you call yourself a failure, you are reducing your entire journey to a single outcome. You are ignoring the courage it took to try. You are overlooking the progress that followed. You are dismissing the strength you built along the way. I do not see you as a collection of mistakes. I see you as a story still unfolding. There are things you attempted that did not flourish, but perhaps they were never meant to. Perhaps they existed to teach you what aligns with your heart and what does not. Perhaps they existed to reveal your true desires. If everything had worked perfectly from the beginning, you would not have gained depth. You would not have developed humility. You would not have cultivated perseverance. My beloved child, stop rehearsing your disappointments as if they define you. You are allowed to learn. You are allowed to try again. You are allowed to change direction. You are allowed to outgrow what once seemed right. Your life is not a straight line of uninterrupted success. It is a path of discovery, and discovery includes missteps. Even what you call failure has been shaping your character. It has softened your judgments toward others. It has deepened your compassion. It has taught you patience with yourself. It has shown you that your worth is not tied to constant achievement. These are not small lessons. One day you will face a new opportunity. And because of what you have learned, you will approach it with more wisdom than before. You will recognize warning signs earlier. You will set healthier boundaries. You will trust your instincts more confidently. What you thought was failure will become foundation. My beloved child, let go of the harsh narrative you have written about yourself. You are not behind because something did not succeed. You are not broken because something ended. You are not disqualified because something fell apart. You are growing. And growth includes seasons that look messy before they look meaningful. I do not define you by your lowest moment. I define you by the love I have placed within you and the purpose I continue to shape around you. Release the word failure. Replace it with formation. Because even now, in this very season, I am still shaping you into something steady, wise, and deeply rooted. And that is not failure. That is becoming. My beloved child, there are chapters in your life that you have quietly labeled as ruined. Plans that collapsed. Relationships that ended abruptly. Opportunities that dissolved after you invested your time and hope. You look back at those moments and feel a mixture of regret and sadness. You wonder how things could have unfolded differently. You ask yourself if one small change might have saved everything. But I want you to hear this clearly. What you thought was ruined, I am rewriting. You see endings. I see transitions. You see broken pieces scattered across your story. I see raw material for something stronger than before. You assume that because a plan did not unfold the way you imagined, it has lost its value. But value is not determined by your original expectations. It is shaped by what I can create from it. Imagine a manuscript with pages torn and sentences crossed out. To you, it may look like a failed draft, but to a skilled writer, it is part of the process. Edits are not destruction. They are refinement. Scenes are removed to strengthen the overall story. Words are changed to bring clarity. In the same way, I edit with intention. There were directions you were headed that needed revision. There were attachments that had to be loosened. There were dreams that needed to mature before they could align with your deeper calling. You mourn what was lost, but you do not yet see what is being built. My beloved child, nothing in your life is beyond redemption. Even your mistakes are not permanent stains. They are lessons that inform the next decision. Even your heartbreak is not the end of love. It is preparation for a healthier connection. Even your career detours are not wasted time. They are shaping skills and resilience you will rely on later. You are not stuck in a ruined narrative. You are in the middle of a rewrite. Sometimes rewriting feels uncomfortable because it requires letting go of the original script. You had to be in a certain dial and a certain outcome, a certain idea of success. When reality did not match your expectation, you felt betrayed by your own hopes. But your first draft was not the final version. There are details I am adjusting that will make your future steadier. There are characters I am repositioning in your story. There are doors I am closing so that stronger ones can open. You think something ended in failure. I see it as clearing space. My beloved child, ashes are not the end of a fire story. From ashes, new growth can emerge. Forests that endure fire often grow back stronger because the soil becomes enriched through the process. In the same way, the parts of your life that feel burned are not lifeless. They are being prepared for new growth. You may not yet understand why certain dreams had to dissolve. You may still feel the sting of disappointment. That is natural. I do not ask you to ignore your emotions. But do not confuse emotion with finality. Just because something broke does not mean it cannot be rebuilt differently. You are not defined by the plan that did not succeed. You are defined by the courage to keep walking after it fell apart. My beloved child, trust that I am weaving your story with wisdom beyond your sight. The detours are not random. The edits are not careless. The delays are not punishments. They are adjustments leading toward alignment. One day, when you stand in a place of clarity and stability, you will look back at the chapters you once called ruin, and you will see how they shape the strength you now carry. You will recognize that without those revisions, you would not have become who you are. You are not living in a damaged story. You are living in a developing one. I am not finished writing, and what I am crafting from your past is not smaller than what you imagined. It is deeper. Trust the rewrite. Trust the process. Trust that what felt like an ending was only the turning of a page. My beloved child, I am still authoring your life, and the story ahead holds more beauty than you can currently see. My beloved child, there is something I need you to understand with absolute clarity. Your appointment is secured. What I have destined for you is not fragile. It is not something that can be stolen by another person's speed, raced by a single mistake, or canceled because of a delay. You may feel as though you missed your moment, but what is truly meant for you does not expire. You live with the fear that someone else will take your place. You see others advancing and wonder if they have stepped into what should have been yours. You question whether the door that closed behind them was the only entrance available. But my beloved child, I do not confuse destinies. What I have written for your life carries your name. It carries your preparation. It carries your specific experiences and growth. No one else can fulfill it in the way you can't because no one else has been shaped exactly as you have. Imagine a key crafted for a specific lock. That key cannot open every door, and not every key can open that lock. They are designed to fit one another. In the same way, certain opportunities are designed to fit you. They may not open for others, and others may not open what belongs to you. Your role is not interchangeable. When something moves forward without you, it does not mean you have been replaced. It means that particular path was not yours to walk. You are not in competition for purpose. Purpose is not limited inventory. My beloved child, I am not scrambling to reassign blessings because you hesitated. I am not surprised by your learning process. I knew your timeline before you did. I counted for your growth, your missteps, your questions. Nothing about your journey has caught me off guard. There are moments when you feel overlooked. You imagine a list being read somewhere and your name not being called. But there is no list where you have been forgotten. There is no meeting where your future was reassigned to someone else. If something has passed, it is because it was not aligned with the fullness of who you are becoming. What is truly yours will meet you at the right time. You may not see how it will happen. You may not know when it will unfold. But trust that I am aligning circumstances with intention. The opportunity that matches your preparation will not slip past you unnoticed. And when it arrives, it will not require frantic chasing. It will align with peace. My beloved child, your destiny is not delicate. It is anchored. Even the delays you have experienced are woven into it. Even the detours have strengthened your capacity to carry it. Even the disappointments have sharpened your understanding. You are not behind in claiming what is yours. There is a confidence I want you to hold in your heart. What is meant for you cannot be permanently blocked by another person's success, by your temporary confusion, or by a season of waiting. Release the fear of missing out. Release the anxiety that you must constantly prove yourself to secure your future. What I have prepared for you does not require desperation. It requires readiness. And readiness is what I have been cultivating in you all along. One day, when you step into a moment that feels aligned, you will recognize it. You will sense that it fits. You will not feel like an imposter in your own blessing. You will not feel as though you are forcing something to work. It will feel steady. It will feel earned through growth. It will feel secure. My beloved child, you do not need to grasp at every opportunity in fear. You do not need to rush ahead of my timing. You do not need to compare your path to others. Your appointment is not canceled. It is reserved. Trust that I know exactly when to call your name. And when I do, you will be ready, not because you hurried, but because you trusted. What is yours will find you. And when it does, you will understand that nothing you were meant to have was ever truly at risk. My beloved child, now that you understand your appointment is secured, I want you to begin walking forward without fear. Fear has been a quiet companion in your waiting. It has whispered, "What if it never happens? What if you try again and it fails? What if you are misunderstood? What if you are not enough?" And even when you tried to silence those thoughts, they lingered in the background. But fear is not your guide. I am. When you allow fear to lead, you move hesitantly. You second-guess every decision. You shrink your dreams to avoid disappointment. You hold back your voice to avoid rejection. Fear convinces you that staying small is safer than risking growth. But staying small is not the same as staying safe. My beloved child, you were not created to live guarded by anxiety. You were created to walk in trust. Walking forward does not mean you will never feel nervous. It means you choose movement even when nervousness is present. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that fear will not control your steps. You have spent enough time questioning whether you are late. You have replayed enough moments in your mind. You have analyzed delays and measured timelines. And now it is time to move with confidence rooted in my guidance. Take the step in front of you. Do not worry about 10 steps ahead. Focus on the next right choice. Speak with integrity. Act with wisdom. Say yes where there is peace. Say no where there is pressure that does not align with your values. You do not need to force doors open. You do not need to rush ahead to prove anything. Walk steadily. Imagine walking along a path with a lantern that lights only a few feet ahead. You cannot see the entire journey, but you can see enough to take the next step safely. That is how I guide you. I do not always reveal the entire map. I illuminate the portion you need for today. My beloved child, release the fear that you will make a wrong turn and ruin everything. I am capable of redirecting you. I am able to route your steps. Even when you choose imperfectly, I can weave it into purpose. You are not walking alone. When doubt tries to paralyze you, remember how far you have already come. Remember the seasons you survived. Remember the strength that formed in you through waiting. You are not as fragile as fear suggests. Walking forward also means releasing resentment toward the past. You cannot step confidently into what is ahead if you are still gripping what has already ended. Forgive yourself for what you did not know before. Forgive others where you can. Let your heart be lighter. A lighter heart walks further. My beloved child, there are opportunities ahead that require you to show up fully. They require you to trust your voice. They require you to believe that you are worthy of good things. If you carry fear into those moments, you may hesitate when you should step forward. Trust that I will nudge you when it is time. Trust that I will quiet you when it is not. Trust that my spirit within you is capable of guiding you more gently and clearly than anxiety ever could. You do not need to live cautiously as if every step is a trap. You are guided. You are directed. You are loved. Walk with your head lifted. Walk with gratitude for the lessons behind you. Walk with openness to the possibilities ahead. My beloved child, fear will try to speak again. But when it does, answer it with truth. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are guided. And as you walk forward, step by step, you will discover that confidence grows not from certainty about the future, but from trust in the one who holds it. Take the next step. I am with you. My beloved child, there will come a day when the very season you are questioning now will make sense. Right now, you see fragments. You feel tension. You experience delay without explanation. You wonder why certain doors closed, why certain opportunities passed, why certain relationships dissolved. You ask me for clarity, and sometimes the answer feels distant. But one day, you will look back and see the pattern. You will stand in a place of stability and realize that if events had unfolded according to your earlier timeline, you would not have been ready. You will recognize that the version of you who first prayed those prayers did not yet carry the depth you now possess. Perspective changes everything. Imagine reading a story where the main character faces repeated setbacks. If you stopped reading halfway through, you might assume the story is tragic. You might conclude that the obstacles define the ending. But when you reach the final chapter, you see how each obstacle contributed to the outcome. Your life is not stuck in the middle forever. There's a future chapter where you will connect the dots. You will remember the closed door that once made you cry, and you will realize it protected you from long-term regret. You will remember the waiting season that felt endless, and you will see how it built resilience that now supports you. You will remember the relationships that did not last, and you will understand how they prepared you to recognize healthier connections. My beloved child, hindsight carries gratitude. The same events that once confused you will become reasons for thanksgiving. You will say, if that had happened when I wanted it to, I would not have met this person. I would not have developed this skill. I would not have grown in this way. What feels like delay now will feel like precision then. You are not living a random sequence of disappointments. You are walking through a carefully woven process. Even the detours serve a purpose. Even the pauses create alignment. You cannot yet see the full landscape because you are still walking through it. A traveler in a valley cannot see the mountain's shape until they climb higher. But the mountain is there, even when the path feels narrow. My beloved child, trust that your future self will understand what your present self struggles to accept. There will be moments of clarity ahead that will quiet today's questions. There will be blessings that will reframe past losses. There will be peace that will settle over areas that once felt chaotic. And when those moments arrive, you will not feel angry about the delay. You will feel grateful for the timing. You may not believe that now. You may still feel the weight of uncertainty. That is okay. You are allowed to be honest about your current feelings. But do not assume that today's confusion is the final interpretation of your story. Time will reveal what patience could not. My beloved child, there is wisdom forming through this process that will shape how you respond to future challenges. When new delays arise later in life, you will not panic the same way. You will remember this season. You will recall how clarity eventually came. And you will trust more quickly. That is growth. You are being prepared not only for one breakthrough, but for a lifetime of steady trust. One day, someone will ask you how you endured this season, and you will speak with calm assurance. You will say that you did not understand it at first. You will admit that you questioned it. But you will also testify that it worked together for something better than you imagined. My beloved child, the day you thought you were late will become the day you say, I was exactly on time. And when that realization settles into your heart, you will see that nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Nothing was beyond redemption. You were being guided all along. My beloved child, we have walked through many thoughts together. You began this journey feeling late, feeling skipped, feeling as though time had moved ahead without you. You carried quiet fear that you had missed something important, that others had stepped into what should have been yours, that the delay meant you were forgotten. But now you see differently. You were not late. You were protected. You were not skipped. You were spared. You were not forgotten. You were being formed. Every closed door carried mercy. Every delay carried preparation. Every silent season carried hidden growth. The tears you cried were not signs of weakness. They were seeds watering deeper strength. The waiting was not empty. It was aligning details you could not yet see. My beloved child, your story has never been out of my hands. I have guided you through uncertainty. I have defended you from unseen harm. I have strengthened you in quiet places. I have rewritten chapters you thought were ruined. I have secured your appointment. I have prepared restoration. I have shaped endurance. I have taught you trust. And now I speak peace over your heart. Release the anxiety about timing. Release the fear of missing out. Release the pressure to measure yourself against others. Walk forward knowing that you are guided. Rest knowing that nothing meant for you can bypass you. Stand steady knowing that I am never late. Before we close, I want to speak to those whose hearts are stirred to help carry this message of hope to others who feel behind and forgotten. My beloved child, when you sow into spreading my word, you become a light bearer in someone else's darkness. I have said that as you give, it shall be given back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing into your life. When you release your support through super thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link placed in the description and shown in the QR code, you are planting seeds into fields of weary souls. This is your moment to respond to my whisper within you. Do not hesitate when you feel that nudge. Let your giving become a river that carries my comfort further than you can see. I bless every generous hand that moves in obedience. I multiply what is placed in my service. Step forward now and sow into this mission of light. My beloved child, lift your head. The season you feared was delay was divine design. The path you questioned was guided. The timing you doubted was precise. You were never late in my eyes. You were always loved, always seen, always positioned. Walk in that truth. Rest in that assurance. Trust in that promise. Amen.